Cousin Dan. I've got a video this time for all you water coolers. I'm got my 944 and I'm switching it from power steering to manual steering. And instead of depowering my powered rack, I'm actually putting on a manual rack from an 83 onto my 89. It mounts up all the same, but the problem is that on the passenger side, the tie rod is about 2 inches too short. So I have to extend it in order to properly align the wheels. Otherwise, they're all going to be pointed in because the tie rods aren't long enough because they attach in the front. So basically what I'm going to do is show you how I solved the problem. The part that I found is actually kind of hard to find, so I'll tell you where I found it, and here's how I do it. Okay, so right here I have the end of the tie rod. It's a threaded rod basically on the inside diameter of it. It kind of stretches out into underneath the car there into the rest of the rack, and here we have the actual end of the the part of the hub where the tie rod end bolts up. So what we have to do is extend the difference between these two, and then we can actually align the hub so that it will sit straight when the car drives. So essentially what I have to do is take the tie rod end, which fits in here like this, and then extend from the end of it here to this so that when this comes up they will line up. The problem that I found is that on the 89, the tie rod end here is actually threaded on the outside like a regular bolt, and on the 83 it's threaded on the inside. The tie rods are not the same, so I can't just switch out the longer tie rod for the shorter tie rod. However, they do mount up to the hub assembly the same way, so I can use interchangeably the different tie rod ends. So instead of taking this and using some kind of coupler nut, which is impossible to find, by the way. I've tried every nut and bolt dealer across the nation practically to link it to then another like threaded rod to then extend it down to here. That's a bad go. You can't find the part. So what I did is I connect this here, which is actually using the old tie rod end from the 83, and then I found this bolt, which is a 14 millimeter 1.5 pitch. All 14 millimeters typically want to be 1.75 pitch, so they won't work. So I found this at a Sullivan's do-it-best hardware store. So if you get to a do-it-best hardware store, you can probably find it. But I'm basically threading this into here, using it as an extension, which is the same size as the tie rod, and so I can essentially thread this right in and then cut off the end of this bolt head and thread it into the end of this. But you want to be sure that when you do that, you use another nut on this bolt so that you can tighten it down to the end here so that there's pressure between here and the nut, and so that this won't want to move while you're driving, because that would be very bad. So essentially, once you get the alignment, you tighten this to this, and then you put another nut on this end, you tighten it to here, which has a thread or a six-sided wrench grip further up, and then you can tighten it down and you should be good to go. Alignment then is a little bit trickier than it would be before, but really it's not all that bad. Just make sure you get it right, make sure it's tight, and that you cut the bolt right, and really you shouldn't run into any problems. So if you guys have any questions, just shoot me an email, leave a comment, whatever. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and don't forget to subscribe to The Cousin Dan. Thanks for watching.